What's good, guys? This is the full card prediction video for Lewis versus Teixeira. I think it's overall a good card. We get, no UFC next week, so we get a little bit of an early glimpse, and this is what I like. I like it when there's no UFC next week and we get to study the card for 2 weeks because overall we end up doing better. We get to give my predictions. You guys let me know what you guys think, and then we do an updated full card predictions by the next Sunday. I want to say, if you guys haven't already, give me a like. We're going to do a full card recap of UFC 317. But before we do any of that, Lock of the Week streak continues to 5. We're going to be looking to make it 6, not this Wednesday, next Wednesday. And I believe we can make it 6. My longest Lock of the Week streak ever is 8. So it all crashed and burned when I had Bo Nickel. Obviously, if you're going to put Bo Nickel as Lock of the Week, you deserve to lose. But I will say, this is a very good Lock of the Week streak. Zach Reese, Joshua Van by KO on points, Mansour Abdul Malik by KO on points, Nazim Sadikov, and most recently, our best, most valued lock yet, Pantoja, which was a beautiful win. We're going to talk about this entire card. I will say we had Macy Barber versus Aaron Blanchfield, Merab Samit O'Malley, Buckley versus Usman in a little bit of a lackluster main event. And then we had Khalil Rountree versus Jamal Hill in a little bit of a lackluster main event as well. I'm glad that I got to show my friends and the people around me what an actual pay-per-view is, what a good card is, what elite fighters are, what fighters that are willing to put everything on the table, willing to put all the stakes on the table are. And this UFC 317 was a full example of what high stakes are and what a UFC pay-per-view should look. I know a lot of people were saying this card was lackluster on paper, but it actually ended up delivering. We're going to go over it. Hines, welcome to the UFC, my guy. Beautiful performance from Hines. This guy, man, this guy has a chin. I heard that he went to jail for robbery and stuff, but man, I'm glad that he's in the UFC, man. Great addition to the heavyweight addition to the UFC. Jacoby Smith got a little tired, breathing in heavy, not using his full breaths, I don't know if he got a little tired, but he ended up getting the submission in the second round. Looked like he was a little tired. We'll see how he does in the next fight. I was going to say McKenny, beautiful submission over Borchev. I will say I did not expect a submission. My friend said he's going to submit him. I was like, nah, McKenny might knock him out. And McKenny actually ends up getting the submission within the first minute. Borchev is probably going to get cut, but I would like to see him in one more favorable matchup for him. Cortez, beautiful win for Cortez. Araujo, she looked a little off. But, that comes with age and being 38 years old. Almil versus Delgado. Delgado performed, but I'm just disappointed that I didn't pick him. I picked Emil, and I submitted Emil. Overall, I thought Emil would have been able to at least shoot a takedown, but Delgado proved himself, and he still has that 100% finish rate. Delgado, I cannot wait to see your next fight, my guy. Hermanson versus Rodriguez. Oh my gosh, I was nervous because RoboCop is getting so bloody. He has blood on his forehead, and I guess it's from the scar tissue, but then he ends up coming back and just in the same round, just knocking him out cold. Beautiful performance. And Talbot, one of my favorite performances, the way that this guy had his leg all the way up in the air and he was still on one foot defending those takedowns. Lima will be back. Lima was on a 14-fight win streak, not losing for a long time. This guy beat Muhammad Naimov. How good is Payne Talbot? He is back. The curly hair is what aura is. Let's go, Talbot. I'm glad you're fucking back. That was my favorite performance. I even live bet Talbot. Dariush versus Moicano. Dariush looked better than ever. If we were to take away Dariush being chinny, I think he would definitely fight for a belt. Dariush is somebody who has very good grappling, very good at facing adversity. He can get dropped, but then he comes back. Great recovery. Dariush is somebody who I would like to see fight for the title. I know it sounds crazy, but I feel like this guy was matched up against to fight Islam at one point. I feel like if Dariush wasn't as chinny, he would fight for a title. Shout out to Dariush. My bad on getting Moicano wrong. I fell into the hype. Joshua Van versus Royval. Oh my gosh, was this an absolute banger not even cold main event. This was a banger fight. I was so excited watching this fight. I will say, I was a little surprised with Royval. I don't know if he got a little bit under the lights, but Pantoja, I agree with Pantoja. He said that Royval, obviously, he's not primarily a grappler, but he should have been able to mix it up, and he shouldn't have rushed. Royval was rushing a lot towards the third round, and that's something that, led him to get dropped, but maybe he was like, I'm down, I gotta go, I gotta make something happen. I saw Royval putting up his hands like, what, before he get dropped, and that's something that I didn't like to see. Joshua Van, number 1. I can't wait to see him fight Pantoja. And Pantoja, lock of the week against Kai Kara-France. I will say, I don't like how Kai Kara-France didn't perform. After doing tape study, I thought Kai Kara-France, he obviously survived very good at defending the chokes, but I thought Kai Kara-France would have had better chances, better moments. I didn't think that he would have no success throughout the entire fight. I feel like Kyle Sakura did a little bit better than Kai Kara France, but you guys let me know. And Topuria with the first round KO. A little bit bittersweet, but it happens. The best man has to win. It's the fight game. I'm an Oliveira fan, you guys know. But you guys know I have to accept reality. And Oliveira got knocked out in the first round. Under 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So, now we're going to get into the bets. I hope you guys all cashed out. I did do a live bet on Payne Talbot. 25 to win 43. So, around 22 bucks you win. One thing I like about live betting, or betting in general, I just put a nice little 25. Makes the 25 a lot easier to make back if I end up losing. Because that was a pretty close fight. Payne Talbot for the dub. Alexander Pantoja by submission on points. I put 50 bucks on it. I took the double chance. And I figured, you know what? Let's take the double chance just in case he wins by submission. I did have the over 4.5 in another parlay. But that one obviously crashed and burned because Kai got submitted. I thought Kai would have been able to at least survive a little bit, you know, win a round at least. But I don't know. I don't know if Kai fell under the bright lights. Joshua, 3-leg parlay, plus 222. Good luck. Joshua Van, Alexander Pantoja, and Ilia Topuria. I had to live bet Joshua Van. When I saw him at a minus 154 after being a minus 600, I was like, dude, this is free. Obviously, nothing's free in this game, but obviously it was 15 to win 48, so overall it was pretty good. Had to put a light little one because I did have Roy Vol in a lot of parlays, which is a big mistake from me. And then right here, 10 bucks to win 59. Overall, it was a 5-leg parlay for plus 495. Payne Talbot over 2.5. Benil Dariush over 2.5, which was very good at minus 112. Over 2.5. Joshua Van Royval fight. Alexander Pantoja, which was dicey. Alexander Pantoja money line and Ilia Topuria by KO or submission at a minus 270. 5-leg parlay. I like it. Let's go. You guys know I always update you guys with the community tab as well with the bets. And then last but not least, I had the over 1.5 because, you know, I was like, you know what? I believe in Oliveira. I think he could last 7.5 minutes. It was part of the bonus as well. So I was like, let me put a nice little 25. But I should have put the 25 on the under 1.5. And then I mixed one with Jake Paul. I saw Jake Paul fighting in the second round against Julio Cesar Chavez. So I was like, you know what? Let me put that this fight goes the distance. And that fight ended up going the distance with one knockdown in this fight. I believe Charles Oliveira got knocked down like twice. And it was very sad to see him go out, but it happens. 50 bucks to win 105. So overall, it was a great night. I hope you guys cashed out. A little bit of a longer intro, I'm sorry. Let's get into Lewis versus Teixeira. Enough gish galloping. It's going to be a 12-fight card. It can't get better than this. This is what a good card looks like. July 12th. Make sure your calendar is free for this day because it's going to be an absolute banger. If you guys can't tell, I don't have a hat on. I got a little bit of a haircut. You know, the hair is getting a little bit more annoying. The summer, it gets in your ears. It gets all the way. So I got a little bit of a trim up. And I like it. You know, I don't have to wear the hat. The hat gets a little bit too sweaty. So it looks a little different. Maybe I look a little different, a little bit weird. But get used to it because I might not wear a hat often. So let me know what you guys think. First fight of the night, Mike Davis versus Mitch Ramirez. I think this is going to be a banger scrap. Excuse me, guys. May the best man win. Let's get into it. I can't wait for 6 best bets and lock of the week, but that's in 2 weeks, so here we go. Mike Davis, minus 900. Mitch Ramirez, plus 600. Fight order is all over the place, but I think in a week from now, it will be in the exact order that it's supposed to be. One thing I like about Topology, it's very consistent. It has all the fights. In the UFC website, I probably would have to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So, here we go. Mike Davis is coming off of a loss to Faris Ziam when he almost had Ziam in a deep sub attempt. Mike Davis is only 32 years old. He is 4-2 in the UFC, 7 wins by TKO, 2 wins by sub, and 2 wins by decision. Mike Davis has good BJJ, but he did pull guard his last fight. Davis is fast, he's smooth on the mat, and he has great BJJ, good sub attempts as well. Matched up against Mitch Ramirez. Mitch will be looking to wrestle, a good one too. A lot of heavy kicks, once on top, he looks to keep you there. Mitch Ramirez had a lot of success against Prates until he finished him. Until Mitch Ramirez got finished when he fought him on Dana White Contender Series. Mitch is coming off of a leg kick TKO loss, 15 seconds into round 3. Thiago Moises finished him badly. We know Thiago Moises just got put out cold against Jared Gordon. Davis is going to have to strike. You can't just spam attempts. You can't just spam takedowns as well to get him down and fall on your back. We saw Oliveira on his back laying there staring at Topuria, and we all knew it was over. When I saw Oliveira on his guard back, you know, looking at Ilia Topuria, I was like, it's over. If you're on your back, if you're butt scooting, it's over. It's over. There's no, obviously, you know, it worked against Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier, but we can't be pulling guard no more. Pulling guard looks bad to the judges as well, and I know pulling guard is different from what Oliveira does where he falls to his back, but in my opinion, I see it as the same. Mike Davis is going to be the pick. Mike Davis by submission on points. Maybe turn that minus 900 into a minus 500. He's already a massive favorite, guys. Majority Topology is picking him. I see some people are going Mike Davis by KO. Maybe you could do Mike Davis by KO or on points. I like Mike Davis by submission or on points. Let's go, my guy Mike Davis for the dub. Let's go. Now, this is a pretty good one. I actually can't wait for this one. Kennedy Njokuani versus Valter Walker. Kennedy Njokuani minus 180. Valter Walker plus 155. This one is a fight where I can see it getting dicey, tricky, and sweaty. Kennedy has looked so much better since moving up to heavyweight. He is 14-5 at 33 years old. He made a wise decision moving up in weight. After he lost to Dustin Jacoby by KO, and his most recent loss, Ovince St. Preux, Kennedy then went on to beat Chris Barnett by KO, and most recently, Lucas Brzezinski by KO. He can get super timid at times, like against Ovince St. Preux. This guy was just staring at Ovince St. Preux, letting him work. Kennedy is on his third fight at heavyweight, matched up against one of the Walker brothers, the more elite Walker brother, Valter Walker. Is 13-1 at only 27 years old. Surprisingly, his only losses to Lucas Brzezinski, but that fight was sloppy, and Valter Walker has looked so much better in shape and better overall since that fight. He is 6'6". Valter is more in shape, less sloppy, and has good heel hook. He has a very good heel hook. Valter Walker subbed both Junior Tafa and Don'Tale Mayes by heel hook. Very impressive. Walker can definitely have a shot here in the wrestling department. I think he's more technical, but he needs to avoid the powerhouse in Kennedy. Walker can wrestle his way to victory, but it will get dicey. Right now, the pick is going to be Kennedy Njokuani, but I do have a feeling that I might pick flip to Valter Walker as the time goes. The pick is going to be Kennedy Njokuani by KO or on points. For now, low confidence, very low confidence. Obviously, as the week goes by, as everything goes by, we'll get a little bit more confident. I'm going to go Kennedy Njokuani for now. I wouldn't be surprised if I pick flip, but for now, we're going to go Kennedy by KO or on points. Chris Curtis versus Max Griffin. This is a good one. I'm glad to see Chris Curtis at 170. Chris Curtis, minus 310. Max Griffin, plus 230. This is a decent, very well put together matchup. Shout out to the matchmakers. Chris is 1-3-1 in his last 5. At 37 years old, Curtis has 15 wins by KO, 3 wins by sub, and 13 wins by decision. Curtis is coming off of a last-second finish to Roman Kopylov at UFC Vegas 101. I had Roman Kopylov by decision, and Mark Smith just stops that fight with 1 second left. Curtis was having success, and he could have literally survived 1 more second a bit, but of course Mark Smith had to stop that fight with 1 second left. I thought that was actually pretty funny, but at the same time, Curtis did get rocked pretty bad. Curtis started his career at welterweight, came into the UFC on short notice, fought at middleweight, and then started to continue to fight at middleweight. Matched up against Max Griffin. 39-year-old Max Griffin. Max Griffin is a bit on the older side. He averages almost 2 takedowns per fight, but his last time out, he got subbed by Michael Chiesa. Griffin, most recent win is over Jeremiah Wells by split decision. Max Griffin has 8 knockdowns in the UFC. I wonder if Curtis can make weight at 170. If Curtis can make weight, I think Curtis can win this fight. Curtis is A game. He should have lost a decision to Roman Kopylov. I know he got cracked, but I still think he would have been able to survive at least 1 more second. And I still think his chin is made out of granite. He was eating a lot of shots against Roman Kopylov. I'm relying on Curtis to make the weight. Curtis by KO on points, but I will say, you guys know when you cut weight, when you cut more weight, you can be a little bit more susceptible to getting knocked out, getting clipped. But I don't think we have to worry about that with Max Griffin. In this case, guys, I'm going to go Chris Curtis by 29-28 unanimous decision. But you guys know I like that double chance by KO or on points. Jake Matthews versus Chidi. Chidi bang bang, Chidi bang bang, Chidi bang bang bang. I feel like we always break down this guy's fights. I've been breaking down this guy's fights for... This guy's been active. He's been active. I feel like every couple of months I'm always breaking down a Chidi and Njokuani fight. Minus 104 for Jake Matthews. Chidi bang bang, Chidi bang bang, minus 122. This is a banger scrap. Jake Matthews is only 30 years old. 3-2 in his last 5. Jake Matthews is on a 2-fight win streak, beating Phil Rowe by decision, which is a massively good win. We just saw Phil Rowe knock out Angelosa. And most recently, a great win over Francisco Prado 4 months ago. The Celtic kid Jake Matthews has 5 wins by KO, 8 wins by sub, and has won 8 fights by decision. Jake Matthews averages 1 takedown per fight. He is technical, doesn't get hit too much, very defensively sound in my opinion. Matched up against Chidi bang bang, Chidi bang bang. Chidi is only 36 years old, 25-10 overall. Chidi has 15 wins by KO, 1 win by sub, and 9 wins by decision. Chidi's on a 3-fight win streak, beating Reese McKee, Jared Gooden, who just recently retired, and most recently he knocked out Eliseo Zaleski in a beautiful fight. Chidi can work. He can hold you against the fence, land good knees and counters. But sometimes, I will say, Chidi can be a little bit timid. Chidi was having issues with Zaleski striking and still managed to win. Chidi is 6'3", 80-inch reach. Jake is younger, Jake is tough, and he can win this fight. The pick is going to be Chidi and Njokuani, but I can definitely see Jake Matthews being the more technical fighter and winning a decision. I like Chidi by decision because Jake Matthews is tough as nails. But I could definitely see a fight where the younger fighter, the more athletic fighter in 30 years old, Jake Matthews win. I'm going to go Chidi Bang Bang for the dub. Give me Chidi by KO or on points just because he's been having a lot of momentum and a lot of people have a different prime. I feel like this is Chidi's time. Give me Chidi by KO or on points, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Celtic kid comes through. This is why we like the early predictions. I get to hear what you guys are saying. You guys let me know. Fatima Kline versus Melissa Martinez. Fatima Kline minus 1,100. Melissa Martinez plus 600. I don't know if Fatima Kline and Erin Blanchfield are together. I don't know. But they are a very good duo. I've seen Fatima in Erin's corner multiple times. Excuse me. I have a sneeze that's not going to come out. Fatima Kline is 25 years old. Overall, she is 7-1. Her only loss is to Jazzy J, Jasmine Jasdavicius. 11 months ago. Kline is 1-1 in the UFC, has a very good win over Victoria Dudakova, finished her in round 2. Kline has 3 wins by KO, 1 win by sub, and 3 wins by decision. Excuse me, guys, my bad. My bad, guys, it's the allergies. And 3 wins by decision. Kline is very dangerous. She's loose, good, and she has good footwork, a good 1-2. She has good pop in her shots, good scrambles, very good cardio. Matched up against David Martinez's sister, Melissa Martinez. Melissa Martinez is very well-rounded. She comes from a very good family. She's a bit undersized, 8-1. Her only loss is to Elise Reed. Melissa is 27 years old. Decent takedown defense, good wrestling offensively. Melissa can't get up, though, if her life depended on it, if she's on her back, which is something that I really don't like to see from Melissa. Melissa should have had a finished win over Elise Ardeline. I feel like every time I talk about Alyssa, we always talk about this, where she landed a hard kick to the stomach on Elise Ardeline, and the referee thought it was a low blow, and the fight went the distance. I like Fatima Kline to win this fight. Obviously, she's a massive favorite. Kline to work, forward pressure, get this fight down, implement what you've learned from Erin Blanchfield. I truly believe Erin Blanchfield and Fatima Kline are a great duo. Iron sharpens iron. Fatima by KO on points. I like the double chance. Let's go. All right, let's go. My bad for that one, guys. Let's go. Lauren Murphy is back against Eduarda Moura. Lauren Murphy plus 420. Eduarda Moura minus 650. Lauren Murphy hasn't fought in 2 years and 3 months now. Wow. Lauren Murphy, former title contender, former title challenger. She managed to survive until the 4th round against Valentina Shevchenko. Lauren Murphy is 8-6 in the UFC. She is 41 years old, still fighting. She doesn't quite literally, I don't know why she's fighting. She doesn't quit. She's tough, gritty, she makes things work, and she just makes things work. She's coming off of a decision loss to Jessica Andrade, which was so long ago. In order to do the tape study, obviously we got to look back. I was doing the tape study, and that was so long ago. It's like a completely different fighter now. She showed toughness on full display against Jessica Andrade. She took a beating in that fight. Lauren Murphy is a tough fight. She has a tough fight here. Matched up against Eduarda Moura. Eduarda Moura is primarily a grappler. Moura is 31 years old. She looks for subs once she gets you down. Eduarda Moura has 4 wins by TKO, 5 wins by sub, and 2 wins by decision. Moura grappled heavy her last time out against Veronica Hardy. But I will say, I can't keep fading Moura. I picked Veronica Hardy against Moura. I cannot make that same mistake again. Eduarda Moura is the pick, but Murphy is tough. She's a tough son of a gun. Moura is the faster fighter. Get to work. Pressure. Moura by submission on points. Let's go, my girl Moura. I like the double chance by submission on points. Eduarda Moura is a massive favorite. Maybe the double chance makes it a minus 650 into a minus 360. But we'll see in 2 weeks. Now it's time for the main card. Nate Landwehr versus Morgan Charrière. I think this is going to be an absolute banger. Nate Landwehr plus 205. Morgan Charrière minus 240. This is a banger scrap. Nate Landwehr looked like an absolute mess his last time out against Doo Ho Choi. I don't know what he was thinking or what he was doing. This guy, Nate Landwehr, looked like a mess. My bad, guys. My bad. My bad for the pausing. Nate Landwehr was finished from crucifix position by Doo Ho Choi. Nate is a brawler and a wrestler at 37 years old. He can be a bit chinny, but he has great recovery. He eats one to give one. Nate lacks power and he jumps into a firefight. And one of my favorite fights from him was his fight with David Onama. That fight was an absolute war. That's how I actually found out about Nate Landwehr. Nate is 5-4 in the UFC, struggles with technical fighters. Nate has been KO'd 3 times, subbed once, and lost by decision twice. Nate is a finisher with 9 wins by KO, matched up against Morgan Charrière. Morgan Charrière is somebody that I'm very high on. I've been waiting for Morgan Charrière to get a good win streak going. He's only 29 years old, 3-2 in his last 5. I was very impressed with how Morgan Charrière performed against Nathaniel Wood. I know he got dropped in that fight. I know he lost that fight, but even after getting dropped, he managed to survive the fight and stay true. He doesn't quit, and he lost the decision, but I still like that. I like seeing him get dropped and being able to survive and not just quit on himself. Morgan is explosive, can have a hole in his wrestling department, but he's very technical. Great cardio overall. I will say one thing about Morgan Charrière is he always makes things work. I just didn't like how he got dropped in his last fight. Nate might be able to catch him, but I don't think Nate has that insane amount of power like Nathaniel Wood or is that accurate. Morgan by KO or on points. I like Morgan Charrière for the dub. We've seen Morgan Charrière fight against Chepe Mariscal and look absolutely amazing. Even against Njokuani, he looked very good with the body kicks. Against Gabriel Miranda, he finished him in the first round, I believe. I believe it was the first round with a couple of minutes into the first round. 27 seconds into round 2. So, excuse me, he actually finished him into round 2 very quickly. Morgan Charrière by KO or on points. Let's go, my guy. Let's go. Just don't get dropped, my guy. I hope Morgan's not chinny. I feel like Morgan Charriere's chinny. Junior Tafa versus Tuco Tokkos. Junior Tafa minus 180. Tuco Tokkos plus 140. I hate calling a Junior Tafa fight. This guy's like a mystery box from Call of Duty. You don't know if you're going to get a teddy bear, a ray gun, a thunder gun. You don't know what you're going to get when it comes to Junior Tafa. It's like the Black Ops Zombies mystery box. Junior Tafa is the younger brother of Justin Tafa. Skinnier, no takedown defense, but is now moving down to light heavyweight. Tuco Tokkos is 35 years old. At 10-5, he is primarily a grappler, 0-2 in the UFC, losing to Umar Sy by sub, and most recently Navajo Sterling by decision. Tokkos has heavy hands, 6 wins by KO, 2 wins by sub. Tokkos has great timing on his takedowns. Once he gets you down, he can look for control, looks for position over submission, and he controls his opponents very well. He managed to take down Navajo Sterling 3 times, which was very, very impressive. Matched up against Junior Tafa. Tafa struggles very badly with pressure grapplers. Tafa is 6-3 overall at 28 years old. If he can manage to defend takedowns, he can survive and tag Tokkos on the feet and even put out Tokkos lights out. Tafa has been KO'd once, subbed once, and lost by decision once. Tafa has never won by decision. The longer this fight goes, I think the more it favors Tokkos. Tokkos for the W. But I will say I'm just banking on time. My bad, guys. I'm banking on time. The longer Junior Tafa wins, the longer this fight goes, I would believe the longer it favors Tuco Tokkos. The pick is going to be Tuco Tokkos. The fact that he managed to take down Navajo Sterling, I think he should be able to win this fight. I know majority of Tapology's going Junior Tafa by KO. But for now, guys, just to see what you guys are thinking, let me know what you guys think. Give me Tuco Tokkos. I think Tuco Tokkos should be able to get the dub. Let's go, my guy, for the dub. Let's go. I don't know what happened, but I just started leaking like a faucet. I will say Tuco Tokkos has a little bit of a red flag in the wrestling. If he can't get wrestling going, he is going to get picked apart on the feet. More than likely, I might pick flip to Junior Tafa, but for now, give me Tuco Tokkos. Bye. I'm just going to take his money line. Give me him for the dub. Let's go, my guy. Tuco Tokkos for the dub. Calvin Kattar versus Steve Garcia. Calvin Kattar plus 118. Steve Garcia minus 150. This is as good as it gets. This is a banger matchup right here. I've been waiting for this matchup since the day it was announced. I would assume, obviously, it's on the main card. But is this going to be the co-main event? I don't know. Calvin is on a 4-fight losing skid. His only win out of his last 5 is Giga Chikadze. We just saw Giga Chikadze lose to David Onama. After beating Giga, Calvin lost to Josh Emmett by split in a fight I thought he won. Arnold Allen, he lost by TKO, but he got injured. He blew his knee out. And Aljamain Sterling, he lost that fight clearly. And most recently lost to Uselyis 29-28. Calvin has high volume, a good elbow down the center that he hit Jeremy Stephens with, and he finished him with. I like that finish from Calvin Kattar. One of my favorite finishes from Calvin was that elbow down the center against Jeremy Stephens. I think he can recreate something like that. Calvin just struggles because he can't wrestle offensively. He has good takedown defense. He defended a couple of takedowns from Zalal. Matched up against Steve, the powerhouse Garcia. Steve Garcia, 17-5 at 33 years old. He is 6-2 in the UFC. His only losses in the UFC are to Luis Pena and Mashata Hazer. Knocked him out clean. Steve is on a 5-fight KO streak, knocking out Chase Hooper, Nora Becky, excuse me if I'm pronouncing that wrong, Maziko Costa, Sung-Hoo Choi, and most recently Kyle Nelson. But Kyle Nelson made him work for it. He survived the longest out of all those 5 guys that got finished, which is very surprisingly. Kyle Nelson actually made him face a little bit of adversity. I know it was in the first round, but Kyle Nelson made him work for it. Garcia mixes it up, has decent wrestling. Calvin Kattar has only been TKO'd once, and that was an injury. He blew out his knee against Arnold Allen. Calvin blew out his knee in that fight. I don't count that as a TKO. Calvin is tough, he's durable, and he loves to work in the chaos. Always comes in heavy the third round. This guy's cardio is always on his side. I think Garcia is going to have to win this fight by decision here. The pick is going to be Steve Garcia. I like Steve by KO or on points. But I will say, guys, Steve Garcia to win a 29-28 decision seems like the most likely outcome for me. Steve Garcia better not gas and go too crazy in the first round. I need him to fight at a pace where he can manage his cardio and defend takedowns. Garcia by 29-28 decision or Garcia by KO or on points. At a minus 150, I like Garcia's price tag. I think he should be able to win this fight. But if Calvin is on A game, it's going to be over for Steve Garcia, especially in the third round. I don't want Steve Garcia to get clipped at all. Alright guys, comment 26-minute gang if you made it this far. Let's go. Vitor Petrino versus Austen Lane. I feel bad for Austen Lane, but we'll see. It's a battle of who's going to get cut. Vitor Petrino minus 620, Austen Lane plus 400. Vitor moving up to heavyweight with the big boys. Vitor, the GOAT, Petrino is back. This is pound for pound the best fighter I've ever seen fight. Vitor Petrino has 2 wins over Rodolfo Bellato, the Oscar Award winner, who we saw last time out against Paul Craig. You know what I'm talking about. Petrino, his last win is over Tyson Pedro back in March 2024. He then got subbed by Anthony Smith in a questionable takedown. He just, obviously, Anthony Smith had him against the cage. He was threatening the guillotine, and he just picks him up and takes him for a joyride and gets him even deeper into that guillotine choke, I believe. I believe it was guillotine. Let me double check. Yeah, guillotine. Shout out to Anthony Smith. And he got knocked out by Dustin Jacoby most recently in a fight where I thought he was winning that fight, but he got read like a book because he kept on doing the same thing, in my opinion. And he has his hands a little bit low. Petrino has 16 takedowns in the UFC, decent takedown defense, but doesn't have the best fight IQ. He can rely on his left hook way too much. Petrino might have got dealt with a bad card, but he needed those 2 losses in order to be where he's at today. Matched up against Austen Lane. Austen Lane, his last win in his last 5 is against a guy who's no longer in the UFC, who's in karate combat, Robelis of Spain. Austen Lane has decent wrestling, has been chinned 6 times. All of Austen Lane's losses are inside the distance. Look at this, guys. Look at this. All of the times that he loses are by KO. 4 times by KO in the first round. Maybe we could sprinkle something. Austen Lane has a path to victory in the grappling department. He did very well against Robelis of Spain. Mario Pinto knocked him out badly. Petrino might have lost a lot of fans in his last 2 fights, but Petrino's going to be the pick. I like Petrino by KO rounds 2 or 3, maybe rounds 1 or 2. The move to heavyweight might have been one of the greatest decisions that Petrino has ever made. We just talked about Kennedy Njokuani moving up. Heavyweight is one of the worst divisions in the UFC, in my opinion. Petrino by KO or on points. Let's go, my guy Petrino. The reason why I don't say sub is because this guy Petrino, I feel like this guy Petrino, he only has 1 sub. I don't think he's going to get a submission, and I don't think he's smart enough to get a submission. Petrino by KO or on points. Let's go, my guy Petrino, for the dub. I wonder if this is going to be the co-main event. We don't know. They keep on sacrificing my guy Steven Wonderboy Thompson to the Wolves. Plus 285 for Steven Thompson. Gabriel Bonfim minus 360. This is a decent co-main. We'll see if it's the co-main. I would prefer Calvin versus Steve Garcia as the co-main. Feels like Wonderboy's being fed to the wolves over and over and over again. Wonderboy did very well his last time out against Joaquin Buckley up until he got knocked out. Wonderboy, I don't know how you guys had it, but I had it 2-0, maybe 1-1 against Buckley up until the third round. 42 years old, massive red flag for Wonderboy, but he doesn't look anywhere near 42. He only has one win out of his last 5, and that was a win over Kevin Holland. Then he lost to Shavkat by submission and Buckley by KO. Excuse me. But he looked very good in both of those fights. Thompson has a great in-and-out style that many struggle with. Even Shavkat was struggling in the striking department. Matched up against Gabriel Bonfim. Bonfim is 27 years old. Great BJJ. He is dangerous. He's a be-finished or finished fighter. He will finish you or you finish him. This guy's only went the distance, I believe, once. Let's double-check that. Let's double-check that. Excuse me. Let's double-check that. Gabriel Bonfim won the distance only one time in his entire career, which is actually crazy. And you know who that was against? That was against Angelosa. He only won the distance once against Angelosa in his pro career. That's actually pretty crazy. Bonfim is 4-1 in the UFC, 8 subs in the first round, 4 subs in the second, and 1 sub in the third. 3 wins by KO overall. Bonfim is very technical, excuse me. He can fight very smart. His last time out, he looked amazing. The way he put Chaos Williams out to sleep, he put him to bed. Wonderboy can disrupt Bonfim's rhythm, landing strikes, keeping this on the feet, but the pick is going to be Gabriel Bonfim. Bonfim to win this fight by submission on points. I noticed maybe Bonfim might chase a knockout because, you know, maybe ground and pound. Maybe he gets on top. But I'm going to go Bonfim by submission on points. If I have to predict the submission, I like rear naked choke. I think rear naked choke is very open. I think Stephen Wonderboy Thompson struggles with the rear naked choke. Let's go Bonfim by submission on points. Turns a minus 360, maybe into a minus 200. Let's go. We'll see if the odds drop. They always fluctuate within a week or two. Main event of the evening, boys and girls. Derrick Lewis versus Tallison Teixeira. Derrick Lewis minus 225. Tallison Teixeira plus 172. My balls is hot. Let me say that again. My balls is hot. Derrick Lewis is being used as a stepping stone. Derrick Lewis has the most KO wins ever, I believe. Derrick Lewis is 28-12. At 40 years old, I thought I almost swallowed a fly. I thought I almost swallowed a fly. Thank God I didn't. At 40 years old, he needs to be thanked for all that he's done. All the fun fights, all the fun media, all the fun interviews that he's done. I can't wait for the Wednesday the following week to just see what he has to say on the mic. This guy just talks like if he's just chilling. He enjoys life. And I want to have a massive appreciation for what Derrick Lewis has done. I know a lot of people say he's boring. Maybe he's very boring in the fights. But guys, this guy has fought the who's who. He signs the dotted line and he's never said no to anybody. 23, and he always makes weight. I don't know how. This guy just always makes weight. Obviously, it's heavyweight, but very professional. Derrick Lewis, 23 KO wins overall for Derrick Lewis. He has 1 win by sub and 4 wins by decision. One of those wins by decision being Francis Ngannou, which is actually kind of funny. Flat-footed Derrick Lewis. When Derrick Lewis loses, majority of the time, it's inside the distance. Derrick Lewis has only lost by decision 3 times. Derrick Lewis has been finished by KO 7 times, and he has been subbed twice. Lewis has a very low volume. Obviously, everybody's going to say this in the breakdown. His power makes up for it, though. You can telegraph Derrick Lewis's shots because of how much he doesn't throw. You know when he's going to throw big. This guy waits and waits and waits, almost like Yoel Romero, where he takes a round off and then he goes in crazy the next round. But Derrick Lewis kind of takes a couple of minutes off, then goes crazy one for maybe 30 seconds, maybe 10 seconds, and then he takes off another 2 to 3 minutes, and then he goes crazy another 30 seconds. Derrick Lewis is coming off of a KO win over Rodrigo Nascimento. If you guys don't know, Rodrigo Nascimento actually lost in the PFL June 27th. He actually just lost in the PFL. Shout out to Rodrigo Nascimento. Matched up against Tallison Teixeira. Tallison Teixeira is 6'8". I mean, it says he's 6'7" here. We'll see. I don't know if typology is accurate. We'll just say 6'7". He's being pushed by the UFC because of how dangerous he is. He's in the main event. Teixeira is only 8-0. He has a bit of a padded record, but he's only 25 years old, 83-inch reach. Teixeira competed on Dana White Contender Series in September of 2024 against Arthur Lopez. I remember that fight like if it was yesterday. Then he made his UFC debut February 8th against Justin Tafa at UFC 312. Justin Tafa got finished 35 seconds into round 1 due to elbows and knees. Lewis waits and waits, and I think this should be Teixeira's fight to work, and look amazing in this fight. Don't be afraid to engage and stay on the outside. One thing we could say is if you're afraid of Lewis and you're telegraphing your takedowns or you're telegraphing your strikes, we saw Alexander, I know this was long ago, but we saw Alexander Volkov winning 2 rounds, almost going to win that fight by decision. And what does Derrick Lewis do? He just knocks him out. Alexander Volkov right here in 2018. 4 minutes and 49 seconds into round 3. Derrick Lewis was going to lose that fight by decision, and he knocks him out. Derrick Lewis always has a puncher's chance. Derrick Lewis against Curtis Blades. Derrick Lewis against Chris Daukaus. This guy always comes in clutch with a crazy knockout. Even against Derrick Lewis against Jailton Almeida. I think he lost by decision. Yeah, Jailton Almeida couldn't finish him. His neck was too big. His neck was too big to finish the submission. But guys, I think one sneaky prop, and I know a lot of people are like, what? This is so obvious. Why would you say sneaky? Because anything is possible in the fight game. This fight to end by KO, and this fight doesn't go the distance. I know it's obvious, but anything is possible. We saw Khalil Roundtree and Jamal Hill go the distance, so you never know. We saw Jailton Almeida and Derrick Lewis go the distance. Lewis waits and waits. Teixeira fights, and he works. Do not be afraid to engage. I think maybe a prop I like. His fight ends by KO. This fight doesn't go the distance. Teixeira by KO is the pick. I like Teixeira by KO on points. I'll take Teixeira by KO on points. I believe Teixeira is a very good, reasonable money line. At a minus 225, I think Teixeira is a very good money line. I don't know if I messed up in the beginning, if I mix and match the odds, because Tallison Teixeira is the favorite. At a minus 225, Derrick Lewis plus 172. I don't know if I mixed it and matched it at the beginning. If I did, my bad. But the pick is going to be Teixeira by KO on points. I like his money line at a minus 225 as well. Give me Teixeira to win. I will say if Teixeira actually submits Derrick Lewis, he has 1 submission. If he manages to submit him, I'll be very surprised. Give me Teixeira by KO or on points. Let's go, my guy, for the dub. The best is blessed, baby. Let me know what you guys think. It was a 12-fight card. A little bit longer because of the intro. But let me know what you guys think, guys. Let me know if you guys have a good lock of the week. A good couple of parlays that you guys are thinking about. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys in the next one. The best is blessed. And thank you guys for staying true and sticking through with all my allergies. They'll be done before you know it. Before you know it, it's UFC 319. Dustin Poirier's making his last walkout with Lil Wayne in the background. And that's going to be absolutely amazing. So before you guys know it, it's UFC 319. The best is blessed. Enjoy the summer. There's 104 days of summer vacation. Enjoy it, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. God bless. Peace. Spend time with your family. God bless. Appreciate the ones that are around you. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Hey.